Well, hey y'all, happy Monday. Well, as you can see, I took down all my shade cloth. I actually took advantage of this weekend where it was cloudy on Saturday and a little cloudy on Sunday to just kind of slowly adjust my garden. On Sunday, the cucumbers, like at the peak of the day, kind of looked a little like they didn't like life, but they're gonna have to suck it up. And today is like freezing, like in the 60s tonight. So our fall is finally here, and I know it took like an extra month to get here after I told you that it would be here soon, but it's finally here. So, and I've had some onions on my desk that I won in a contest, and I need to get those planted, and I also want to plant a little bit of garlic. So in the bags that I ripped out from the stuff here on the trellis that had aphids, I've refortified those bags. So what that means for me is I take like a 1 part compost to 1 part composted manure, and then I do about a half of whatever that ratio is of worm gold, which has got the castings and a little bit of rock dust in it. And then I mix that up, and then I top off the bag. And so what I had left over from that, I topped off the kiddie pool, which I also am going to be planting herbs in this week. So I'm going to plant a little bit of onion and garlic over there. I'm going to plant some in here in these bags. And right now these bags are in a shady area. You really kind of want to have a sunny space for your onion and garlics, but that's the great thing about bags, is that I can get them moved around and adjusted once I see what their growing patterns are like. I'm going to show you the garlic that I got from the store, how I took it apart. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some different types of onions that you can plant here in the low desert. But right now is the time for us here in Arizona, low desert, to be planting our onions and garlic. So I thought I'd bring you along today while I do mine. Now, when we're looking at garlic that we're going to use for seed garlic, we really want to be picking the biggest cloves out of, you know, the head that we break open. So this one I'll pick, whereas like this one I won't pick that one, because kind of the size of your cloves that you plant are going to be relative to, you know, what it births as a plant. So as you're going through here, leave the skins on, you know, just like that. Leave the skins on. Don't take them all the way down to the bottom. This one, again, I'll keep. And but several of these, especially kind of like the ones that are in the middle. This is organic garlic, so it's a little bit smaller. But the ones that are in the very center that are just like really nothing size, we're gonna leave those on the counter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these broken up, and then we'll head out to the garden. Today, before I get started with planting onions, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the different types of onions that you can grow in Arizona. Now, in different parts of the United States, it's, you know, people grow their onions in the spring, in the summer, but the fall is the time to do it here in the low desert. And the second thing about growing onions down here is that we want to be picking short day varieties. So that means that these onions only need X amount of sun to make them grow. So one of the more common varieties of onions that you're used to are what's called a bunching variety. So this type of onion is, you know, you can buy these at the store. They're like green onions or scallions, and you can actually regrow these from scraps. So when this plant gets to a certain point, it's going to make flower shoots, which then are going to produce seeds, and that's how this plant originally grows. Like I said, you can regrow it from kitchen scraps, but if you wanted to start completely fresh, you would grow this type of onion from seed. Now, a lot of us cook with these bigger type onions that are also similar to what you would find from the seed up, or and that's these Grano type onions. Now the Grano type onions are great for here in Arizona, because they're a short date onion, and they're going to be a little bit more smaller ball of an onion than compared to these. You're still going to get a lot of flavor, but they're going to be a little bit more globe shaped, or kind of shaped a little bit more like a Vidalia, but you still can get a red and white variety out of that. Now again, this type of onion here, along with this type of onion, are just like the bunching onions. So that means that the plant is going to produce a flower at some point, and they're really pretty. They look kind of like a dandelion bud. So they're really pretty, but the flower is then going to create the seeds, and the seeds are then what you plant to make the onions. Today we're going to try a new to me onion called Etoy, and it's spelled kind of funny, like I or IOTOI, and it's what's called a multiplier type onion. And so this is going to be more similar to like planting tulips, or a bulbing type plant that makes multiple bulbs. So this onion, when it's finished, its bulb is going to be maybe about that big, and you can use all parts of that plant. So it's going to have kind of the green stalks, similar to the bunching green onions that you can use. And then you can also harvest these individual bulbs. And so one of these bulbs can make 8 to 10 bulbs. And I won these in a contest on Instagram from a local gardener. And so I'm going to be planting these today to check them out and see what we can get from them, along with planting garlic. So we touched base a little bit when I was breaking up the garlic about how you want to leave the skins on the garlic. And then the next thing that you're going to see here in a minute when we go to plant these is that what was originally the root base of the garlic, that's going to be what's going to go down, because that's going to be what produces your roots for your garlic plant as well. So this part right here is going to be at the top. So when we put it down in the soil, it's going to go like this. And then we're going to cover it with a little bit of soil, and then we'll start to see the green ends come up, which are the scapes. And we're going to do the same thing with the multiplier onions, the Etoys. We're going to put this fat base down in the ground, and we're going to let the top part be the guiding greens that come out of the soil there. So I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to plant a little bit of these onions and garlic with you. You want to plant them all about 8 to 12 inches away from each other. And these are these onions are really great companion plants for brassicas or tomatoes. So once I get going with what I've got in space wise for these bags up here, I'm definitely going to take any extras I have and poke them down in probably some of my brassica plants. So let's check out this little planting session, and hopefully you'll be encouraged to plant some of your own garlic and maybe some of your own Etoy onions if you can get your hands on some. I'm going to go in just about 2 inches, because some of my bulbs are a little long, and I'm going to go over here, which I probably should have went closer to that wall. So let me go a little bit closer over here and go there and go there and here and here. And then I'm going to stick a garlic clove. I'm going to do this bag as garlic, and I'm going to do the other bag as onions, and see what awesome success we can get out of this. So put that in there. I'm going to find another chunky one and get it in there. So really easy. Like I said, you just really want to make sure that you get the chubby part, which you know is basically going to be the part that makes your roots. You want to get that chubby part positioned down into the soil first, and then once these start to come up, I'll kind of have more of an idea of, maybe how much more I could put in here. So I'm just gonna stick that kind of in there. I'm okay with that kind of coming out a little bit. And I'm gonna grab another one, get it down in that hole. Now these will eventually, like I said, multiply, and I can, once they start growing good, you know, I'll be able to harvest them as I need them. And then once a year, you go out and you dig up all your multipliers and you split them up and you share some, and then you get ready to plant some more in the fall. So now I'm gonna go do the kiddie pool by myself, and like I said, I hope you're encouraged to plant some garlic and maybe some of this multiplier variety onions. So I was sitting on the patio last night and I was really just like thinking about how all of this greenery right here is kind of a real pale green, which is weird because it gets plenty of sun coming from this direction. And it's not unusual for a plant like this part of this plant right here. This is the oldest part of the plant. So a lot of times as a plant grows, you know, what's the older part will begin to die as it continues to make, you know, a new plant. So this is where this, what looks like a dying plant, keeps going. Like this is the rest of it. So, and look, all of this is super green. So when I came over here and I started really looking at this plant, what I also discovered is that this plant has got a severe infestation of aphids. So I wanted to share this with you because this is how I hope to help you make decisions about what to keep and what not to keep. So when we look at this, if this was, you know, a certain time of the year, maybe we would, you know, have some hope and we could just blast this off with water. But most of the time, it's important to reflect on the fact that our plants get attacked when they're weak and something is not jiving with them. Maybe they're out of season. Maybe they just got weak because of overstress. Who knows? But this is definitely the time to make decisions for your plants, because you don't want your aphid problem to then become a problem over here with your healthy plants. So the solution for me, because this is mostly Armenian cucumbers, maybe cantaloupe, and even though we've got this healthy part here, I think it comes, yeah, it's coming from something in this container, which is fine, but it's still got aphids. Like you can see some on the back of this leaf right here. Still don't know if that's worth it to me to keep that plant, even if I cut away everything from it. So you'll have to stay tuned for my tour to see how that ends up for this green part of the plant. But like I said, it seems like it's on its way out. It's you know, it's suffered too. So that's my little tip for making these tough decisions. You know, if you've had a serious change in color and it's at the top where the new growth should be and throughout the plant, then when we start to see a lot of pests, that's when we're really going to need to come in and make these decisions about getting rid of stuff. Now, a lot of people have had a lot of ladybugs start to come in, and if I left this would be prime real estate for a ladybug mama, because she would lay her babies here, and when they were ready to move into their final stages, they would eat all of these. But I'm not waiting on them. I want to get some other stuff going. So say goodbye to Aphid Town. I'll catch up with you in a little bit.